We are live, Dad.
We're live?
We are.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello out there in Facebook land.
So we're a little early. We just came on to let you guys get a second to tune in. So up here is like our number of viewers, and then as people come on, you'll see their names. So Dad is new to Facebook. He's new to Facebook Live. This is his first ever time doing that. So like down here, you'll be able to see people who tune in. So say, hey, Paula.
Okay. Hello, Paula.
This is my dad.
Hello, everybody.
Dad, what's your name?
Neil Massey. Most folks call me Neil. The handsome one.
The handsome one.
The handsome one.
Uncle Big Handsome.
He is, but he ain't handsome as me.
Keena and Tracy on. Those my sisters. Those are you would call them Samuel's sisters, but I stole them. So
Okay.
They're on, and Tracy's husband is on. So hey y'all.
Hey, blended family.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. For those of you who missed it, my dad is my special guest today. So we have a special show for you for Flourish with Me Friday. For those of you who see my poem, I did a poem recently called Family Rug, and in that poem I addressed my dad very briefly, but that God led it for this to happen. So I'm super excited that he is here, and I am super excited that you guys are tuning in. So we are going to get started. I'm going to open up in prayer, and then we're going to get the show started. So, Father God, I thank you for this opportunity to heal. I thank you for every person who was tuning in. I thank you for every viewer, for every person that will watch it later, Father God. I ask that me and my father are an inspiration to pull up the things under their family rug, Father God. I ask for healing, for restoration, Father God. God, I ask that you decrease us and increase you in this moment, God. I ask that we have a moment of breakthrough, Father God, that we are an inspiration, Father God, that things can heal if we let it, that forgiveness is possible. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, again, I am super, super excited. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is my dad, Neil, aka Neil, aka the handsome one. Let him tell it. So, basically, we decided after I did my poem, Family Rug, that we needed to sit down and talk about the past, the present, and the future. As a woman growing, it's just certain things in my life that I fully haven't healed from. So my dad agreed to come on, which I'm super excited because he does not do social media like that. So in the poem, Family Rug, I say, Daddy, did you know I waited for you? I waited for you on the front porch until the sun became the moon. I'm 29 now, and I can't quite pinpoint the moment I stopped waiting for you, but in the men I dated tried replacing you. So, for that to come out, it was just kind of, I felt like my dad didn't know. Krisha says, hey. That's my sister, the mastermind behind the name Threads of Family Rug. Shout out to my big sister. But in that poem, I realized I had more hurt than I realized. So I want to ask you, Dad, hearing me say that in the poem for the first time, how did that make you feel?
Well, first, let me say this. I was proud of her being able to share openly with you guys and with her audience when she read the poem. I was proud of her for that. I didn't know that she didn't have that healing, or that I had left that scar and that mark on her. So I wanted to open up and for us to talk about it so that you guys can understand that sometimes the choices that we make in life as men, being out there in the streets, we don't realize it affects our children. And I didn't know that it affected my daughter in this way, or my other children. So first, let me say this. I apologize to you and to my children out there who might be watching or seeing this. I didn't know the damage that I have done and the scars that I have left. So I wanted to open up to heal. And this is new for me. I don't do social media. And I'm trying to open myself up to new things this year, 2019. So I'm here. Any questions you want to ask?
Yes,
I'll try to answer the best of my ability, and I'm going to be open and honest with you.
Yes, please ask your questions. If you have questions for me, if you have questions for my dad, if you have comments in general, please interact with us. Like I said, we want this to be a time of healing, to answer any questions. If you're going, I know a lot of us as women, we've had daddy issues, so that's not anything that's new. But usually you only get one side of the story. You get all of the hurt and all of the pain from whoever feels like they were hurt, but you never get to hear the flip side of the story. So that's why my dad is here, to give you that flip side of the story, that what you may feel is not always what's reality, I want to say. Because, you know, I felt like that I'm like, why is my dad not here for all of these things? Why is my dad abandoning me? Like, why is he not here? Like, I needed you. And I still need you as an adult, but I gained that mentality, like, I don't need nobody for nothing. And I got that because I was angry with you, but I didn't want to let people know that I was angry. So I got this whole, it's me and Adonis against the world. It's, I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I don't trust men. And then I didn't realize how damaging that was. So now that I'm in a relationship, it's harder because it's like a man is trying to love me and I'm trying to love back, but I never knew how that was supposed to go. So how do you think that impacts like relationships, or as you're growing, not having your dad always around?
Oh, it definitely will affect you, because as a dad, we want, especially with daughters, we want our daughters to be treated as queens, because they are queens. They're princesses to us when they're little, but they're going to grow up to be queens. And we want to teach them how a man should treat them. And me being in and out of her life like I was, being incarcerated, being in the streets, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing as a dad by providing, but at the same time, I didn't know the emotional scars that I was leaving behind from my actions. So I want to say this, that we as men have to start changing the way that we think. Even though we think we're doing the right thing, we need to also make sure that we're not scarring our children, our babies. Because then we start scratching our head and thinking, well, I've done everything I should do as a father to provide for you, but provide is not the emotional platform that they need. And what we need to do now is to let our children, as adults, what we're doing now is opening up to talk about it. Because we have been talking about these things and we've gotten closer for it. And we have spent hours now on the phone about whatever it is that she wants to discuss. She can talk to me about it.
Absolutely.
You know? And this is one of the things I've thought that I was doing well, as being a father who could say, my children can talk to me about anything and everything that they want. I may not like the answer that I get, but I can give them that open platform. So I didn't know the scars that I left for not being there. Absenteeism as a dad does a lot of damage. Let me say that. Because I didn't know that I did that much damage to my children.
Hold on, Lucretia got a question. For those of you who don't know, Lucretia is my big sister, so this is her dad as well.
Right.
So Lucretia has a question, and she says, I think you had a great dad and a good example of a father. What happened in your life that made you do different, or be there less than your dad?
For me, okay, when I was young and going to school, all during those times of going to school, on career day, all I heard was from firemen, teachers, whoever came to speak at school, when they would ask me what I wanted to be, I wanted to be my own boss. Because that's what I had watched my father do. He worked hard, don't get me wrong, he worked hard. But he also was showing me and my siblings what it's like to have your own, because he had his own mechanic shop in our garage on the side. And with that, it made me want to be my own boss. And I felt like me being a young black man and wasn't being given the opportunity to educate, and the education, they wasn't giving it to me in school. And so I instantly got the desire from watching the hustlers out there who was dressing nice, had money in their pockets, driving nice cars. I wanted to be that guy who was running his own life. So I went to the street for it. That's what got me started. I had great parents. They gave me an opportunity to go to college. I didn't want that because I was fed up with school, because school had let me down. I'm going to say that again. School let me down because they was giving me the same education year after year that I just went through. I went through the 6th grade, went to 7th grade. 7th grade gave me the same thing. I just went through 6th grade. Went from 7th to the 10th grade and was getting the same information that I was getting in the 7th grade and the 10th grade. So I got discouraged from anything they had to tell me in school. So I went out there and got it on my own to be my own boss. I went to the street.
Well, I think I appreciate your honesty with that. But I think subconsciously that choice, okay, so like for example, I think as women sometimes look for our dad and the men that we date subconsciously, like if they're not there. So you weren't there to tell me you should date this type of guy or you're worthy of this. So you being a street man, that's what I was ended up being attracted to. So I ended up like, oh well, he dressed nice or he got money or whatever the case. And it's like that's not what you know what I mean? But it's just that's like subconsciously I ended up wanting that life because of your life.
Exactly.
And I think it's just it's hard. It's hard to say like, oh, you can say I'm gonna be like this when I get older, but you do what you see. And I think because I've seen you that way, you always had a button-up shirt on and always was dressed nice, that I was attracted to that type. Auntie Nisi got a question. She says, do you feel like you may have been influenced by your older siblings?
Yes, I have been. You know, me and my brother are very close, and I watched a lot of some things that he was doing. I wanted to imitate and emulate my brother, and therefore, along with that, once again, I was in the street life. You know, but I took it as being part of a business and not just out there just to get some money. I had a means to an end to get there, but not understanding that my means also affected my children because I was gone a lot. With being in the street life, sometimes the consequence is prison. Sometimes the consequence is being away from your children because sometimes you end up breaking up with that woman that you're with because of your ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I didn't know a lot of times too that you heard me and your mom arguing.
All the time.
I thought that you and your brother was asleep most of the time. And I didn't have an idea that y'all heard some of the conversations that we had.
And I think
they weren't always good.
They most of them weren't good. You know, but like I said, and that's what I'm saying. Like is as far as arguments that you don't or you think your kids don't see or hear things, but I ended up in a abusive relationship because of that. So it's just like I'm not pointing the finger at you. Like everything in my life is not because of you. But this is why I wanted to have this session, because a lot of times we don't heal because we're scared to address what it was. Like I never told my dad I needed him. Like I felt like he should know it, and then I was mad when he wasn't there. And I also feel like Krisha can attest to this. We feel like you raised your daughter. You have 2 daughters. You raised your daughters different than you did your boys.
I did.
How many kids do you have, Dad?
I have 10 children.
Dad has 10 children. Now, and he raised his 2 girls differently.
I listen, we as men, we do this. There's a different set of rules that we have for our daughters. We put our daughters on a different place
Krisha said, yep.
Because we want our sons to be strong black men going out in the world, because the world does not want to hear the excuse from a man, first off. And they give a black man even less of an opportunity to have any excuse. You have to excel all the time when you walk out that door. And I wanted my sons to understand that. And so being strong myself, I felt like, okay, I want my daughter to be treated as a queen, and this is how I set different rules.
But Dad, I feel like that don't make no sense.
Yes,
because
it does.
No, listen, I get that you want your men to be strong black men, but you should want your daughters to be strong women.
I want y'all to be strong black women, should have been telling us. But it's a certain type of guy. I didn't want y'all to be with a beard. I didn't want y'all to be with a guy like me.
Well, that
because I was in the streets.
How did that turn out?
And I was moving too fast a lot of times.
Well, that didn't go in your favor.
And I didn't want my daughters to be, because I was working to bring a difference for my children. Just like our parents worked to bring a difference for us. So I was trying to pass that on. Even though sometimes the logic that we see don't always fit, the method to the madness, but my heart was in the right place. Now, I'll say again, I did treat my daughters different from my sons. I let my sons get away with a lot more
Krisha
than
said,
my daughters.
It was what I say, not what I do.
That's right.
That didn't work though, Dad. That did not work.
I understand that. And that's one of the things that we as parents now, and parents coming up and raising children, one thing though I will say this, let your children communicate with you. Even when you don't want to hear it, or you may not like what you hear, allow them that platform growing up, not when they get adults, not when they're teenagers, but from the time that they start talking, allow them to communicate to you what's on their mind. Because they'll start off as little telling you what's on their mind, and we start shutting them down. Don't say this. I don't want to hear that. Or do what I say. You know what I mean? But if we listen to them, they'll tell us, and they'll learn how to open up, communicate with us as they're growing up. Because one thing I did, my children always attest to is this. I gave them open platform to talk to me. And it helped us. Because I may not like what you said, but we can figure out a way to fix it, and then we'll talk about the reason why it happened. After we fix it. So let's fix it first. And that means we have to be open as people and as parents, while the kids are young, to say, listen, I'm going to let you speak to me, let you talk to me. That don't mean that you let your children get disrespectful, because I didn't allow that. You can't cuss to me. You can't cuss at me. But you can tell me what's bothering you on your own mindset and your own mind level of what it is. So we can talk about it. Because it helps. And I understand, I wasn't always there, so I had to really pay attention to my children. The time I spent with them, I wanted to make it memorable and cherishable for both of us and all of us. You know, so we could grow together. So keep that in mind.
So when you weren't there, you were... Because I felt like when you weren't there, I wasn't important enough to be there. Like, I will remember times where you would be like, all right, I'm coming to get you and your brother. And then I'd be all dressed with my little ugly sweater on. And you would never come. I say ugly because I remember this day. It was like Christmas Eve or something. And I was so, like, I was talking about it all day. And I was like, my dad is coming, my dad is coming, my dad is coming. And I was like, literally, like, when I put that part about I waited on you for the front porch, like, it wasn't literally the stoop. But, like, I was waiting on you to come. And I felt like, what's more important than me? Like, I felt like I'm a dope kid. Like, like, we was good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like I just felt like what got in the way of being there when you said you were going to be there? Or I feel like we all went through that at some point. Like, we all went through the dad's coming and then didn't come.
Right.
So, what happened?
I think a lot of times when that happened, I was in either, sometimes being in a different relationship, sometimes you can get distracted and not purposely know that you're not showing up when you got distracted or had the detour from what your agenda was that day, scarred your children. And I was like, I'll make it up to them when I see them. You know, this got in the way. Sometimes, like I say again, the lifestyle that we choose to live sometimes gets in the way of what's more important. And I let that happen more times than not. But I tried to make up for it. And there's really no making up for that. Because one thing I've learned is once you lose time, that's the one thing you cannot get back. Once you lose time, you can't get it back. So a lot of times, and I would call it being selfish, because I'm thinking that I'm doing the right thing. I'm thinking, okay, they really ain't going to be affected by this right now. I'll make it up to them by what I give or what I buy. And didn't know that emotionally I was steady adding scars to you guys. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does. So, what do you think, because the dad that he is now, which is why we're so close, is not the dad he was then. So obviously he had a lot of changes in his life. So what would you say was a turning points of our relationship?
You know what? I really think that first when my grandson was born, wanting to be there for my grandchild and to help you raise a man. You know, he got a dad that's raising him. Don't get that twisted, y'all. He got a dad that's raising him. But I want to be a part of my grandson's life, and so I want to get closer to my daughter. And that meant me having to step up more as a dad, you know, to be there and to be around. So I made some changes. I said I had to make some changes. Plus I also had put a retirement time for me in the streets. I said at about 35 years old, if I hadn't made the money that I aspired to make when I was out there in the streets, then I was done. And when I hit 35, I wasn't sitting on top like I wanted to be. I was starting over again. I was in a new relationship. And I just said, you know what? I said I was done at 35, and I was done. So I want to start making changes to redirect myself in my life. And that's what was a turning point for me to get closer to you.
Right. Auntie Trina asked that too. She said, how did you begin the healing process? So for me, I think it was wanting to heal first. because for a long time, since I was a kid up until like adulthood, I carried around this anger towards him. Like right now I could say it's not hatred because that's not the way of God. Like I would say that I hated him, but I didn't hate him. I hated the feeling that he gave me for not being there. I hated the things that he did. I hated him being absent. So that equated to me saying I hate my dad. But the healing process for me came when I truly forgave him. Like I started going to the City of Joy, and I realized, like, you want God to forgive you for all of these things that you do. So how dare you not forgive someone that you're angry at because of the mistakes that they have made? Yes, they hurt me and they affected me, but I'm not God, and I'm not going to be your judge anymore. And really, it's too heavy for me to carry, to be quite honest. So and I knew that I loved my dad, and I knew that I wanted a relationship with him. So once I got real with myself and said, you know what? I want my dad in my life, and I want him to be in my son's life, and I want to figure it out. I had to be truthful with myself, and then I think the healing process can begin, because then you can be like, right now where I'm able to receive his apology. I'm able to receive what he's saying. I'm able to receive that he now understands the fact that, you know, it affected me. So if I was not in that place, I wouldn't even be open to hearing any side of what he had to say, because I would be broken still, because I'm not letting him let me heal. So it's like I can finally get the answers that I wanted to get. And it's not going to happen overnight. A healing process never happens overnight. It's like a womb. But I do feel like me being willing and open and getting forgiveness myself helped this process that we have now.
And I think that's great. I think that's great. You know, because it also let me take a look at myself. Because a lot of the poems that you wrote and that you spoke out to your audience, I was able to hear it and understand it, you know. And I've been trying to better myself spiritually as well as grow as a person. So with that, you know, I was able to want to get closer, you know, want to get better as a person, you know, not just closer with God, but as getting closer with my children, with my grandchildren. One of the things I want to do, because I know along my way, most of y'all, my children, have missed out a lot with me from being an absentee dad. Like I said, you know, in and out of prison, in and out of their lives, even in relationships. When you start new relationships, a lot of times your children get left sometimes, you know, because you get caught up with just trying to build on where you're at now and forget about sometimes you got weekends, you being a part-time dad, when you got to be a full-time dad, even when it's just on the weekends. So for me, I needed to use the time now that I have to get closer to my grandchildren. I want to take what I understand now as being a father and being a man and kind of let that channel into my grandchildren, to be a better granddad and be a better father to my children now that while they're still here and while I'm still here. You know, I say I got a lot that I've learned in my journey, and I'm still learning. But what I've learned so far in getting older, I ain't gonna tell y'all my age, so don't y'all be asking. So I said that I wanted to do more with them, to be more a part of their life, and for us to get closer, to communicate better, so that we could be more of a village for my grandchildren. You know, if that makes sense to any of you guys. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the process that too, you know, trying to heal and when you say lifting the rug off of those skeletons that we have, we got to open up as families, you know, and not doing it in a malicious, ugly way, but to just hear each other, communicate to each other, say, you know what, this hurt me. You being away hurt me. And we got to be understanding and say, you know, we got to accept our responsibility as fathers and as men who have been absent in our children's life. I don't care if you ain't been in jail enough, but if you've been like that weekend dad who hasn't been there, and understand something, I've had alcohol in my life and everything else to go along with being in the street, drugs and all that. I've been a part of that. So understand that doesn't, because you say I ain't been to prison, I haven't done these things. If you have been absent and it has scarred your children, because if you look at your children, listen to them. I got my sons too who got some scars. I have been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks before we got to the show today. And I was like, I know I've left some scars with my daughters, but I know from talking to some of my sons and some of the absent relationships that we have now, because we're not as close as we used to be, there are scars there. And I want to get a chance to talk to them to see what damage have I done to you guys, because I know some of my sons aren't being great in relationships. And that's a reflection of me. Not from them, is what I wasn't able to really teach them growing up. I've been trying to correct a lot of that with their baby brother, but I want to correct a lot of that now with my sons as well as with my daughters while they're grown and while we're here, so we can pass it on to my grandchildren.
Would you say, because so Daquan is the youngest brother that we have, so Dad was there with him from when he was born to he's about to be grown now. So would you say that I don't want to like say the others aren't fine, but would you say that he's doing better than the rest of the sons because you were there for him the entire time?
Yes.
Like mentally, emotionally, all of that?
Having two parents in the home raising a child is very important.
Don't
believe the hype saying that single parenting is a great thing. No, it's great when you don't have no choice. But if you have a choice and both parents can raise a child, raise that child together. Do what's necessary to make sure you raise a healthy child mentally and emotionally. Because we get caught up thinking, and society has made it so acceptable to raise a child as a single parent. And that's not good, especially for Black America. We got enough to deal with. So the last thing we need to be doing now is separating ourselves. And here's one of the things that really bothers me a lot, is to see a young couple get pregnant, and right after the baby's born, they separate. And they do it all over this country. I don't care what your financial status is or whatever it is. Celebrities do it all the time, just as well as the average poor person or average middle income families. Separation is not acceptable. Raise your children together. If y'all was loving enough to make that baby, be loving enough to say, you know what, we're going to stick it out and work it out. So we can raise a child in a healthy, wholesome environment. Because that's what I had to learn.
But the key word is healthy, though, Dad. Because me and Adonis' dad, we have a good relationship now. We can co-parent now. But I feel like we were younger. Like, I was 22. And all the knowledge and everything that, came along with growing in God and all of that wasn't there then. So I think we were in an unhealthy place. And sometimes it's better to be separate for a while so y'all can grow and then be able to come back and co-parent. Because now we're able to get along. We're able to, for the most part, we're able to get along. We laugh. He won't let me dye his hair and stuff like disregard. But anyways, but for the most part, I feel like in that space, we weren't healthy together. So I feel like it would have hurt Adonis to see us arguing and fighting and doing all of that had we not separated. So sometimes I know it's good if you can, but sometimes you just are not in that position to do. So how, like you said, if you're a part-time dad, you don't have to be a part-time dad because you don't live with the mom. Like, you can be a full-time dad, and you can be a full-time dad and live out of state. Like, you can really, but I think people get it confused with not living. You don't have to be with that mom to still provide emotional support, because I think a lot of dads, they think buying their children stuff or showing up for birthdays, that's all great, but what about when your child is crying or they're frustrated or they're acting out, or how do you tie a tie as a son, or how do you conduct yourself as a young lady? I think that's what's missing.
Well, again, I'm gonna say this. From the very beginning, when you two got together, you started off loving each other. You loved each other enough that you said we could have a baby and be happy about it. So you can't say now, once the baby's here, whatever reasons that came about that started the bickering or the arguing or the separation part of it, you got a chance before that comes to try to fix it. That's what I'm saying. Try to fix it before you get to that stage of saying we need to separate because we'll be better apart than we will together. That's not the case. You have to also, because I want to say this, everybody has not found that spiritual plane yet with God. They haven't found the relationship with God yet. A lot of us, and I'm still learning it. Now I'm there as far as listening to God. Because I hear him a lot.
Gracious said, what about one night stands?
One night, let me tell you something. Yeah, let's address this right quick. If you think that you're gonna have a one night stand because your hormones and that alcohol don't got you turned up, have enough sense to have a condom with you. Men, women, don't let the man have no fun if he ain't protecting himself. Y'all hear me? I'm going to say this real close. Do y'all hear me? Because that's the result. Sometimes you end up saying, and I had that happen to me. I'm serious.
What happened?
I have a child from the first time we hooked up, and we produced a child, one of my sons. Now, that means this. We wasn't thinking about safety, we were thinking our hormones. That's a consequence. But the consequence becomes long-term when now we're co-parenting.
Okay.
Follow me?
I got a question. Ebony said, but with young parents, it's not always love. So now you just got a baby. What do we do? So if it's not necessarily love that brought you together, like if you young and you trying to figure out who you are, you have sex.
I'm gonna say it again, real slow. Use protection.
What if that's not? What that didn't happen? Protection didn't happen.
Well, then it's too late to say that. Listen to me. It's too
late.
But
But still, as a parent, it's not too late.
As a parent, then y'all have to figure out this. We have a child together. If nothing else, that child deserves to be raised by both of us. And that don't mean materialistic things. That means we need to co-parent together, being a part of the decisions made in that child's life.
So how do you do that though, Dad?
That means this. The two of y'all, even though y'all might have been strangers in the night, y'all got to start being friends in the light. You understand?
I'm going to use that.
For real.
Strangers in the night, friends in the light.
You do.
Because, I don't mean to cut you off, Dad. So as a man, if you, like she said, y'all, it just happened. Oops, we had a baby. Because whatever the case.
We didn't get no protection.
Yes, we had a baby. As a man, because we're talking about right now, because I know, women are absent too sometimes. But as a man, what do you do to show that support? So like you said, y'all got to be friends in the light. What does being friends in the light look like if you don't? First of all, sometimes you have a baby with someone, you don't fully know that person, but you still have this child that you both love.
Okay.
But the dad be absent, MIA, gone, while mom is over here trying to.
Let's revisit what you just said. You started off. This was a hookup. Mm-hmm. You met that night. Boom! It happened.
He said, "You a rapper?" No, he not. Please don't let him think that.
No, I ain't gonna start rapping on y'all. Listen, but y'all hooked up. Y'all had a baby. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nobody was thinking safe. You had a baby. Mm-hmm. Now y'all got to start talking to each other because she just can't come up and probably say, "Yeah, look, I'm pregnant. What you gonna do about it?"
That's how it be though.
Of course, that's how it may start off, and he may want to go to the number. Once the acceptance comes for both y'all, he say, "Okay, this is my baby." Okay, a lot of times men say, "I'm gonna step up," but they got to learn how to step up because remember now there's a generation out here who hasn't been taught by their parents how to be parents or how to be men or be adults. But now we got a baby coming. Now listen, you got to step up together. Together, y'all can't be arguing. You as a female cannot get an attitude because he ain't always there. Because understand something. Remember now what you said. Y'all didn't know each other when y'all laid down together. Mm-hmm. Now y'all got to start learning each other and get to know each other. Y'all got to communicate. Before the baby come, you got to start helping each other to understand. We ain't got to be together. It could have been one of the things. Look, I got a woman. This just happened. But he still want to be there to help you, but you got to help too. You got to stop being mad. You got to stop being angry. You got to stop feeling like now I got a baby, so you need to leave her and come to me. No, that don't happen. That's reality. The reality is, though, together, y'all got to figure out how we going to raise a child together and we going to be adult about it because y'all was adults when y'all getting them sheets.
What about this, Dad? So, what about the men who are not going to step up? What would be your advice to the mothers who have to deal with that situation? Because this reality, it happens more times than not.
You know what?
I rarely hear a man stepping up.
What you have to do then, that's when you go to that village. The village is your family. The village is the people in your life who's not going to judge you for what happened, who's going to help be there with you to help raise your child. Because you cannot do it by yourself. And women, stop thinking that I can raise him by myself because there's always going to be some figure in your life who's helped. So give them credit for the help that they have provided you with when they did. You might be doing it on your own, mostly because you're in the household and you're paying the bills. But understand, you got other people in your life, in your family, in your circle, who are helping and who have helped Help babysit when you needed a babysitter. While you tried to go to work. Help babysit while you were trying to go to school. Whatever it is, remember, you had help and you got help. That's when you got to get that help. If dude disappear, it's going to be his loss. Okay? Still raise your baby. But we're not talking about right now separation. We're talking about trying to bring it together so that y'all can raise the child together, even though it might have been a one-night stand or it might have been a random hookup. Y'all got to still communicate together. Once both y'all understand, look, this is your baby. We're having a baby, it's ours. We got to come together on how to raise that baby and be serious about it. Fellas, don't get upset. Then don't listen to the dudes out there in your ear talking about, man, forget all that. It don't matter, no. Because one of the things you don't want to be is a dad who got 15 kids from 15 different mamas. Because when the government get in your pocket, you're going to be sad.
This one with the 10 kids, this one here.
Yeah, but you know
this
what?
One.
You got to work harder. You know what I mean? You can't make excuses. Once the baby's here, you can't make excuses. Pause, y'all. Sorry about that. You can't make excuses. You got to say to yourself, look, do I want to know? Because here's one of the things you hear from a lot of guys. I don't want another man raising my baby. Then step up as that man to be there for your baby. You got to get there in their life and be serious about it. Be sincere. Yeah, that don't mean me and you going to see eye to eye on everything. But also, women, give him an opportunity to make decisions. Because a lot of times, y'all get mad and cut him out of decision making. So he feel like, why should I be there putting any effort in to help and raise my baby when all you want is my money and not nothing, none of my input? That's not fair either. So you got to make it a level playing field for both of y'all. And the only way to do that is y'all got to talk.
Another question for you, Dad, or for us. How does a woman communicate with the man who's walked away? I don't.
You can't.
I'm sorry, you can't. Like
he gotta. You know what? You gotta wait for him to come around.
Yes.
You gotta wait for that voice in his head to say, you know what? Because somewhere along the line, he gonna hear 1,000 different conversations, and it may not be nobody talking in his ear. It may be something he may be watching on TV or something that sparks in the back of his head. You're missing out on a great opportunity to raise your child. So get back around there and start communicating with the woman that's carrying your baby who has had your child. You need to do that.
So I will say this from experience with my son's dad. You have to first be both willing to communicate and communicate effectively. So I can't be like my feelings may be valid and I may have something valid to say, but I still have to say that with the same respect that I want to get back from him, because he's going to be more receptible to me coming at him with respect versus doing all of this like you ain't did this and why you ain't bought this and why you ain't did all of that, doing all that doesn't work for us. So once I learned that I have to, the same respect I want you to give me as a woman is the same respect I want to give you as a man, even if I'm angry. Because that was the thing. Like when I was angry, I would pop off, and then why would I expect for you to hear anything I have to say because I'm doing all of this? So once I toned it down, I said, listen, this is how I feel. This is what I need from you. It's up to him then to communicate back and either step up or not. And luckily, we're at a point now where we're able to communicate. And I say, well, this is what I need from you. This is what I need you to do. Can you do this? Can you be here for this whatever situation? I have to work. Can you go to a down to school? Like whatever. So now we're at a place where we can communicate with each other because we have a mutual respect for each other now at this point. As the mother of his child and as the father of my child, we had to come to an agreement. Like we can't be cussing each other out and being disrespectful to each other because we're going to get nowhere.
Exactly. And also let me say this too, fellas. Even though you might be co-parenting and part-time dad, so to speak, keep this in mind. You still have to be a disciplinarian when it comes down to the issues that come to say, hey, look here, our baby doing this or doing that, he's acting out or she's acting out. You got to still step up with mom for y'all to come together collectively with the solution on what we're going to do. You can't blow it off, because blowing it off makes the child think that he or she can play y'all to the middle. I can go to dad and get the love and attention that I need, even though mom don't put me on punishment. When I get with dad gonna be slack and gonna let me get away with it. Dad, if mom say he on punishment or she on punishment for this, that, or whatever happened, you gotta still be able to say, you know what, you on punishment. So even though I got you this weekend, this is what you're not ready to do. But look what I had planned for us. Look what I have planned for. That's the way to get the child
Down
to
be
start
happy
acting
though.
up.
Down is that.
You
Crack
gotta
every
do
time.
it, but you can't crack.
He be
You
like,
can't
all
crack.
right, I know you on punishment,
Right,
but we about to
'cause
go
you
to
sitting
Sky
wrong
Zone. I'll be
lesson.
like,
Right, you can't do that. You gotta say, look here, we was getting ready to go to Chuck E. Cheese, but now we ain't because she messed up. You gotta stick to your guns. You gotta help her raise your child if you're not there all the time.
so 2 questions. One question, well, not a question. First, Christian made a comment that the one thing she loved about her mom was that she never down talked you to them. And
Right.
mom never did, nobody ever did that to us, and I don't do that. I know Tate commented that she doesn't do that for her daughter either, and that's important because you can do so much damage to your children when a father is absent by down talking that man,
Right.
or or whatever parent. For men, it might be the woman who's missing. By down talking them, you're already giving them ideas in their head, and you're already formulating their opinion for them, and that's not fair to do. Ebony said, what do you do when the father is gone, the son is out of control, and now it's just you and the baby?
You gotta go to a male figure who you respect and ask them for some manly advice on how to help your child. Because if your child and you are clashing, no matter what you're saying or doing at that time, they're not gonna hear you. So you need a male figure to help you figure out. There's somebody you respect. It don't have to be a guy you dating. It could be an uncle, a grandparent. It could be a pastor. It could be a teacher. It could be a co-worker. If you respect that person and respect their values and that things are working in their life and it may be trickling on to you, maybe they can help you solve that situation with your child. It'd be the same thing. If it's a female child, you need to find a woman that you respect. That's my opinion. You need to find that person that you respect that can help you get some advice on how to do it. Because every time, outsiders cannot help you always solve your issues. You know what I mean? You can read all the books you want to too, that sometimes that does not work. You need somebody that really who has some other experience, or previous experience, or more mature than you, to maybe help you figure out that solution. And also, pray. Talk to God.
Well, what if it's not the father's fault that he's not in their life?
I mean,
for example, a lot of it's a lot of killings going on and stuff.
Right.
So say your child doesn't have their father because of violence or something of that nature, and what if you don't necessarily have a male figure to go to? Because a lot of times you really don't have a male figure that you can trust. Like, what if that's not?
Well, like I said, you got to find somebody you respect. Because yes, listen, a lot of times by no fault of your own or child's, dad might be gone. Mm-hmm. Okay, it could be from a number of reasons. It could be death. It could be life in prison. It could be something of not your fault. That still doesn't mean when your child is acting out that you're left alone with the solution and the problem solving. That means still find somebody that you respect and that you trust to help. You don't have to hire your child. They don't have to come and talk to your child. They could give you advice to say, try this or try that and see if this works. Because sometimes children act out not only for attention, but sometimes they feel like they're being left out and not being heard. That's why I say go back to again when your baby is talking to you, once they can start talking and they're conveying something, listen to them. Look at them and just let them know that what they got to say is important. Don't blow them off. If you're on the phone and you say, baby, wait till I get off the phone, mommy gonna come. I'm gonna see what's going on. So we can talk. Let mommy get off the phone, do what you gotta do. Let mommy finish cooking. Because don't allow your baby running around in the kitchen. They get hurt that way. But you got to figure out the way to help communicate with your child. And the only way you really learn your child is by listening to your child and watching your child. Because when women say, I know my baby, you better know your baby. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's important. And that's the same thing for us too as men. We have to listen. The time that we do get, if you're an absentee dad or you're a part-time dad, the time you get with your baby, make sure you're listening to them. Don't just give them gifts. It ain't just about the fun time, because there's a lot of times you got to stand up and say, look here, what's going on? Why did you do this at school? Why are you doing this at home? Why are you giving mom a hard time? It ain't always about punishment either. But if you get your butt out of line, I'm going to say this to you so you understand something. Whoop that behind.
Let me just say this. My dad ain't never whooped me a day in his life.
No, because...
He popped me on my hand one time, and I looked at him like, what is that?
Listen to me, because I made my children feel like, listen, you can talk to me. But
that's
if
true.
But my boys, if they got a line, they got their butt whooped. They ain't got a line too much because I talk to them. I'm always like this. If you do something as a child, because my dad did it to me, if you do something as a child and they ask you why'd you do it,
Christian, you didn't whoop her either.
I didn't, cause y'all didn't. Y'all were fairly good girls.
Fairly, I was great. I could
talk. Y'all were. I could talk to y'all. And I would melt. I admit I melt. With like I said, I had two different standards. My girls, I didn't whoop because they was really good girls to me. They was my princesses. So if they did something I told them not to, basically me just having an angry face, it straightened it out.
I want you to tell the story that you mentioned to me about Creisha. Creisha's my sister, guys. If you see LaCreisha Hicks on here, this is her dad as well. So if you see her comments, that's what it is. I know you told me a story that
I was in prison.
Yes. So like she said, she made a comment on here that said that you were away. You did 10 years in prison, and she wrote. Y'all communicated through letters and things.
Right.
But tell me or tell her how that affected you, because she wrote you about something like she needed.
Because Lucretia, you're listening to this, so remember, I was locked up in prison, and you wrote me. You were going into your teenage years. You was a teenager, and you were developing, and you was discussing something with me that was very personal, heartfelt. And when you wrote me your letter, talking to me about it, and I read the letter, I was so hurt because I couldn't come to you and talk to you face to face and hold you in my arms and let you know that this is going to be all right. It's just part of the development stage you're going through, and you're going to grow. You're going to have your spurts. Everything's going to be fine. Not being able to be there at that moment. At that moment if you'd have called me on the phone, I would have stopped what I was doing and came to you, because at that point in time, you really needed your father. And me being locked up in incarcerated, it broke my heart. I read that letter, it broke my heart. It broke my heart to the point where I didn't convey the conversation that we had in the letter, but I told some of my cellmates and some of my dudes that I was in there with, bitten is the prison term for y'all who don't know. And I was letting them know just how bad I felt at that moment for being absent in your life. I apologize for that too, again. And that's what I want a lot of men to understand. The choices that we make out here, when we think we're doing the right thing to provide for our families, we're not thinking about the consequence of the action that we bring when we got to go away. So think about that too when you make that decision to go out here in them streets to do something. Because now we don't have that excuse anymore to take the streets as a means to make a living.
She said forgiving heart.
Thank you, baby. We don't have that excuse anymore. It's too many avenues for us to get educated and to get stronger as black men to raise our children. It's too many jobs available out here for us, even though we may have to be a little harder, a little stronger, but that's what we used to. We used to carrying that load. We strong. And it does not stop. And yeah, the struggle is real, but we know how to get through that struggle.
Auntie Trina says she appreciates your honesty.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Trina. Hey, love. How you doing? That's my baby, y'all. So I'm just saying that, to give you guys the understanding to look, prison is not the answer for us. Jail is not the solution for us, and the streets is not the way to go. Because we have other avenues now. And so we can't use that excuse, they're not giving me, they being the system. Because once you go to jail, let me say this to y'all so you understand something. Once you go to jail, and myself, and I'm still being ostracized from society for the things that I have done. Me being an ex-felon and me being away from it for all the years that I've done does not always excuse them. They look at my record and don't want to give me that job. They're afraid to, because they're like, look, once a criminal, always a criminal. And that's not the truth.
Tay, post your question again, babe. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Tay has a question for you.
Okay.
But listen, this is healing for me. Like, me and my dad have talked about
Countless
a lot of
times
things.
about stuff.
We have, and I asked my dad anything I want to know about him, and he is literally an open book, and I think that's a part of our healing process too. But I wanted to thank you for coming on, because I know you don't really fool with Facebook and all of that. You're an open book, but we are live on social media, airing all of our business.
Yes.
But I want to encourage you guys, for anybody who has been touched by this or is being touched by this video, to heal, to pull up your family rug and have a conversation and just even reach out, because you don't even know if somebody is willing to speak with you or willing to heal with you if you don't reach out. Because for me, I was carrying all of this anger, and I could have been healed, I feel, or began the healing process had I reached out sooner, or had I said, Dad, I need you, or Dad, I need you to be here, or even just called him like, Dad, I'm mad at you, I'm angry at you. Like, even if I would have expressed any type of feelings instead of shutting him all the way out, I think. So if you are going through something like that, if your dad is still around for you to heal, or whatever family member, friend, even whatever person that has hurt you or you may have hurt them, I feel like now it's 2019, it's a new year, it's no excuses. Reach out to that person, begin to heal. I just want this Flourish With Me Friday. I told you guys I wanted to be an open book. I told you guys I wanted to know the face behind the brand, and I wanted you to see my journey in entrepreneurship. So healing with my dad was a part of this journey. So I felt it only right that we share it with you. Tay, I don't see your question. I want him to answer it.
And also, I want to say this, that I'm loving my daughter's brand. With Black Sheep Beauty, and I want to help empower us as Black people, us as men, us as women, and us as men having to learn how to treat our Black women more as queens. Because I'm learning that. I'm still learning. I still got a lot of luggage that I'm carrying too now and back. So this gives me an opportunity too to start 2019 with a better life, because I'm trying to reinvent myself again to be better going forward in 2019, because I made some changes in my life as well. But I wanted to thank my daughter for inviting me here. It humbled me, and I'm proud that she thought enough of me to say, hey, Dad, come on and do this show with me, to pull the rug off and let the skeletons be revealed. So I thank you for that. And I love you for that.
I love you.
So
Tay has a question. She said her daughter's dad is in and out of prison, and he's never been consistent even when he's out. He's been in jail for 6 months, and he doesn't call or write. Is it wrong for her not to take her to go see him?
Yeah. Not just wrong. No, I don't want to say that it's wrong for you not to let him see his baby. If he wants to see his baby, let him come home and see his baby. And I say that only because of this. If he's still, because we've all dipped and dabbed, but if he hasn't been trying to be there when he's been out, he's missing out even more by not being there when he's out and has an opportunity to be in your baby's life. So he needs to have an opportunity, and he's not taking the time to write you to see how the baby's doing, or ask you, can you bring the baby up here, then he's still being stubborn right now, and he has some growing to do. So don't hold it against him. It's just saying this. Right now, he's in a different place, and he might feel that, you know what? When I'm locked up, I don't want to see my baby. I don't want my girl bringing my baby down here, or my baby's mom bringing my baby down here to see me right now, because this is not a place I want her to be seen at. So you got to kind of like flip that coin sometimes, because unless you talk to him about it, you really don't know. So don't feel that you're wrong not to take the baby down. And just feel like this. Let him make that effort to say, can you bring the baby down? You know what I mean? And same thing when he gets home. Let him make the effort to say, you know what? Because it's not like you're saying, I'm not letting him see my baby. He has an opportunity to want to see the baby. He got to want to.
So if he's not consistent when he's out, but now he's in jail for 6 months, and he says, hey, can you bring the baby to see me? You think that she should?
Yeah, give it a try. I mean, what's the harm in at least going to see what he has to say, see what he feels? Because he might be under a different mindset now. He might have grown tired. Because sometimes, and only that person who's going through it know when they're fed up and when they're tired. When they say, and you'll know when they're sick and tired, not by them saying it, but when they stop going back to prison. When they come home and say, you know what, I'm done with the streets, I'm going to get me a job because I don't try the streets. And when the streets not working for you, then you need a new occupation. Let's understand that too, fellas, that if you out here in the streets and you're not getting what you went out there to get it for, if you're not making enough income to provide for your family and for yourself, and your reasoning for not wanting to work with somebody else to be your own boss, if that's not working, then it's time to reevaluate you and say, you know what, I've given a shot at this, it ain't working, it's time for me to go.
I tried to. I think I added you. It's my first time trying it. Did it work? She wanted to join our conversation. She has something to say.
So I wanted to throw that out there to the fellas.
She said, the same one who asked the question, she said she doesn't, she said, I don't mind, but he called once just for the birthday. So I think her point is, like, he's being inconsistent. He inconsistent when he out. He inconsistent when he in. Like, so he in and out of her life. So should she go through taking, because she said her daughter is heartbroken. So
how old is the baby?
Camille is how old? 10, 9? Tay, how old is Camille? She's older than Adonis, so she's older than 7. So I want to say she's like 9, 8, or 10, something like that.
What you got to do is like I said.
Does she want to see him?
That's the first question, but more so too, he has to let him ask. Let him ask. Don't just say, what, your daughter want to see you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to sit baby down and say, you know what? We'll see dad when dad contact us, because she's in at that age now. She's thinking about it herself. She's able to figure it out. Children are a lot smarter now than they were 5 years ago. Y'all, we all know this. So those questions she's gonna ask you, you'll have to be mom and dad right now, unfortunately, to try to help her figure it out too going forward. And then, like I say, sometimes a person has to get fed up with their own self and their own actions in order to start growing up and becoming more mature, to say, you know what, let me straighten myself out and get in my baby's life before I miss out on some more important years. Because right now, he's missing out. And he may not realize it yet, but don't think that while he's sitting down there locked up, he don't get a chance to reflect, because that's one thing that you do get to do when you locked up. You get a lot of think time. If you ain't playing games and you're not running around like you in a country club, because that's where they made it now. If you're thinking about your freedom, then you're thinking about what you left behind. So don't think he's not thinking about it. It's just he has to grow up and figure out, am I done? So don't be mad at him either. Don't be mad at him.
It's hard to do though.
You're going to get angry. Yes, you're going to get, that's human emotion. You're going to get angry. You have a right to be angry at him. But also understand something too. He's going through his own mental thing and his own emotional thing, because don't think it makes him feel truly good not to be in your baby's life. For whatever reason, when he's home, that's on him now. Let me say that. When he's at home, it's on him to come and step up and say, let me get in my baby's life.
Hold on, Dad. Keep talking, Dad.
So you just, for now, unfortunately, you got to be mom and dad. But like I said, you do have a village to help you raise your baby. And try to make those times when she feeling down, try to uplift her. Try to let her just, understand that, hey, dad will come around when dad ready. Because sometimes we make a big mistake when we're not in our children's life, y'all.
Yeah.
Fellas, so understand that. Because we look back when we get grown, and when they get grown, and when they start telling us a lot of things that took place in their life and we wasn't there, we have to think about, I missed out on a lot. I missed out on a lot.
Is it fair to think I just want to protect my child? So maybe that's Kay's thing. Like, maybe she take you down there for what? Or
that's fair. That's fair. To say, yeah, I want to, because let me tell you something. Some women have told they do. You go to jail, you on your own. I ain't bringing the baby down there. I ain't coming down there to see you. You made that choice. I didn't say for you to go out there in the street to do nothing for me. You chose to do it. So the choice that we have made, some mamas say, you know what, look here, you on your own. And some mothers and fathers say the same thing. You on your own. Let me tell you something. Personally, I was trying to have my mother and father not come see me, because I had made my choice. But my mother wasn't having. She wanted to come see her baby, regardless. But I also made my head. Don't y'all feel guilty not 1 second about y'all raised me, because y'all raised me right. I chose this route. I chose the streets. And so I can accept the consequences of my actions. So fellas, understand this. If you can't accept going to jail, then don't do no crime out here. Don't be absent. If you don't like being locked up, don't go to jail. Stay out here, because there's other avenues that you can choose now. You don't have to choose to go to the street to make a living now. Go get that job. Let me tell you something. It's hip to be square. It is. It's hip to be square. Ain't nothing slick about going to prison. Let me tell you that now. When we was out here hustling, understand something. When we got caught, that meant we failed in our objective. You want to say it real slowly? We failed in our objective when we got caught. So don't think there was nothing slick about going to jail. Now, that's another story I'm gonna get into on my next platform.
Somebody, I'm trying to add somebody, but I don't know how to do it. Hold on. Keep talking, Dad.
So I just want to share some of those thoughts for those daughters out there, wives, mothers out there who have experienced men like myself who've been in and out of jail, who've been in and out of their children's lives. And to say, you know what, we as fathers and we as men, we as husbands, you know, we have to sit down and accept the truth when our children want to discuss it. Open up to them, let them speak, let them let that healing out so they can heal. Let them let that hurt out. Let them let that anger out. Because remember something, we did help create it. The things that we've done when they were little, now they're grown. And I didn't know a lot of things that I thought I was doing the right thing, but by my choices. I did not know or really give it a long conscious thought that I was scarring my babies, all of them, sons and daughters alike. So that's why one of the main reasons why I want to sit here with my daughter, to give her another opportunity to let me know, and any of my children out here who might be watching, give you the opportunity to talk to me so that we can talk. And for me to again say, I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart for being an absentee dad. I got something going on my lip. You know, in y'all lives. You know, I'm humble, but I'm sorry for the damage that I've caused, because we cause damage. You know, money and materialistic things is not enough. We got to be there as fathers, but especially for our daughters, because we raising queens all the time. It does not stop. And it's a 24/7 job, because we don't give the mothers enough credit for what they have to endure when we're not there. You know, we can teach them about what you need to do when I go to jail, but it does not replace the fact that you're not there. They got to be mom and dad, you know, or you got grandparents or aunts or uncles, whoever had to step up in the place of dad while dad was locked up. Get them the credit and thank them for it, because they was able to take care of your baby when you couldn't. So give them credit, y'all. And then think about this: we as men, we got to get better. We got to do more, and we got to do better by helping our sons. Because I got some sons I got to help become better men in their relationships. And I know it's by my actions that they're not better men in their relationships, because they have watched dad be bad in relationships. Y'all follow me? So I just want to throw that out there to y'all, if it helps. Anybody, if it helps.
Krisha said, you've been an awesome dad and grandfather these adult years. I would agree.
Well, thank you.
I would agree.
Thank you for that.
I'd be wishing, like, the dad you are now, you all laid back and just don't be doing nothing. I wish I had that dad back then.
I wish I would have been that dad back then.
I think I might have turned out differently. So it's God has a reason for doing what he did in the order that he did it in. But
that's a part of my journey too, y'all. Yeah. Let me say this, you know, I made choices, and as I've gotten older now and more mature, I've had to reflect back, and then I had to thank God, because God knew my journey and he prepared me along my way. When I wasn't praying for myself, my parents and loved ones, those who loved me enough to say, he's a fool right now. So God forgive him for what he's doing, because he's acting a fool and he ain't listening. So their prayers carried me through my transition period too. So I'm better now, and I'm a little bit, I like to say I'm a little bit wiser now and a lot more mature now. But at that time when I was going through that, it was also part of my journey. You know, the saddest thing for me is that I missed out on my babies' lives when they were growing up. That's what hurt the most. But as far as my journey, it's helped me be better, because I've understood now, and I'm hoping I can help somebody else before they have to make that unnecessary trip. Because some things you learn from other people to say, this is what I don't want to do. So if I've said something to maybe help any young man out there, any man out there, if it's helping, you know, think about the damage that we do to our children before we make those decisions. Let's have some reflection first. Question. And don't just say, you know, I got to do this in order to survive for me and mine. Because there's other ways to survive. And there's other avenues we can choose. So if it's a help, I'm glad I'm able to help.
Krisha said next time she wants to know, how would our lives have been different if you would have went to the military instead of prison? Or would it have been a difference? I guess
it would have. Because I wanted to go to the service. Let me tell y'all something. When I was 18 years old and I caught a case, okay, I went to the recruiting office because I had just gotten, I was fresh married and everything. I had my second child, but my oldest child was down south. I wanted to go to the service because I said, if I go to service now, I could make a difference for us financially and be better. And I wanted to go to the service because I wanted to go into special forces. The recruiter even tried to get the judge to allow me to go to the service. And the judge said no. Mm-hmm. With him saying no, it made me angry. And it also let me know something too. This is a choice that they have made you make now. That's what I was thinking in my mind. This is a choice they made you make. So I'm going back to doing what I know how to do, which is hustling them streets. I work now. I don't think I just stayed and just hustled the street, but my point is, sometimes the choice other people make for you can be bad for you. Because if I would have went to the service, it would have changed the lives of all of us. Because I would have probably stayed in the service for at least maybe 10 or 15 years, if not the whole 20, because I had a purpose for going, and it was something else that I wanted to learn while being there. Now, the more I think about it, it would have changed our lives. It would have changed all of my children. I would have still had a bunch of children because I wanted a bunch of children. I've always wanted a lot of kids, but they would have been better because I would have learned more. I'd have been more mature at a younger age, and I'd have been able to provide for my family financially better. Regardless of what it was like being in service for Black men, that wasn't my issue. My issue was I wanted to go to service, to get out the streets. I had a friend, I had a baby and a young wife, and I wanted to make a difference for us.
Try exiting the live and then coming back in, and I'm gonna try to add you that way.
You know, so I definitely think me going to the service would have made a difference in all of our lives. I really do. I really do. Financially, emotionally, all the way around.
I don't think we would have felt like you abandoned us if you was in the service. Like, we would have missed you, but we would have felt like, maybe we would have felt like, oh, like you're more heroic, or you're like, we would have had maybe a different respect for it. Like, because like when you go to jail, I just feel like we didn't understand. Like, I didn't know what you was in jail for until I got good and grown. And then once I realized that, I was just like, so I felt like it was like a waste. Like, you was out of my life for no reason, like because of your choices. So then I was angry about that. So at least I felt like, for me, I feel like I would have felt differently if it was the service, because I felt like that's something honorable, it's heroic, and we still would have, I feel like, got to communicate at some point.
Right. But you know what? You're absolutely right. It was a waste for you guys. It was a waste for my children for me to go to jail. Mm-hmm. Okay, because the choices that I made, it was because they missed out. I didn't miss out. I missed out on them, but I scarred them. They missed out on a dad not being there to help them through whatever they were going through and helping raise them with their mother. They missed out. So yeah, it was a waste of their time for me to go to jail. I don't want nobody to get a misunderstanding about that. It was a waste of their time for me to go to jail because I made a choice. And I didn't think about that time, the consequences that I was bringing to my children, and the scars again that I was giving them. I scarred them with me going in and out of their life, going back and forth to prison. It scarred them because I wasn't there. I wasn't there to share anything that they needed to talk about. I wasn't there to share the good times they were having. I wasn't there to share those bad times. I wasn't there to help their mother when she needed me to be there and was struggling to raise them. I was not there, so don't think that it didn't hurt them. Of time, and that's time again I cannot get back. So keep that in mind, fellas, when you out here, and ladies that might be out here in the street trying to be ride or die. You know, keep that in mind, that the time that you go to jail is wasted time if you leave a child out here. It's wasted time when you're leaving loved ones out here who you asking to send money to you, who are you asking for things while you're locked up because now you can't do for yourself. So yeah, it is a waste. To us, it's not because we knew the choice that we made. But for them, it affected them. It affected everybody that was in my life. My parents, my children, the women at the time that was in my life. It affected them all. And I deeply apologize to y'all now because the more that we talk about these things, the more I'm starting to really understand, yeah, I did a lot of damage. So I got some mending to do too. And I've been trying to do a lot of that, like I said, you know, through trying to be a better granddad and a better dad. Now that they're grown, I'm not saying I'm trying to make up for it. I'm trying to be better because I've gotten wiser. And I know now I can be better because I got a chance when I'm still alive. So while I'm alive, I'm trying to be as much in my children's lives as I can to cherish those moments that I get with them and those seconds I get with my grandchildren. I'm trying to make all of that count now.
How did you feel when I graduated? Because
I was elated. That was one of the most exhilarating moments in my life to see another one of my children walk across that stage and become a college graduate.
Because Christian.
Because my oldest daughter, I love you, baby.
Yeah.
She did it. And I'm so proud.
She's the only other one out of your children.
Yeah. Well, you got an older brother who was going to college, but he got in an accident and it messed him up. So, you know, I was elated. I'm still elated. I'm still right on that how and I think that I do have 2 children who have graduated from college. I'm working on my baby son. And we're going to get him there. You know, he's going to be great. Lord's will, nothing happens. He's going to graduate this year, and he's already wanted to go to college. So he's doing great, y'all. So, and yes, like I say again, it does make a difference with both parents being in the house.
Because he was the one that was raised.
Right. He was the youngest. He was the baby child. And me and his mom, we raised him together. Through all the ups and downs, and I'll take you through some ups and downs too. But through all those ups and downs, we did manage to stay together enough to get him to going to becoming an adult. And it does make a difference. It does. Don't think it don't, y'all. It do. For both parents to be in the house, it makes a difference. It makes a strong difference on who they are growing up, who they become going into adulthood. So because let me tell y'all something. My brother and sister-in-law, and I love y'all, they have done it. They have been together and they have raised their children together. Even when things were rough and hard. So I commend y'all for that. And I'm trying to gain some energy and emulate some of that by staying. That's a lot of things too to make me stay. You know, so I want to give y'all credit for helping me grow as a man and as a person. And I love y'all for that. You know. So don't think that not being, then that's what I'm trying to really push home the fact that if let's take aside the one night stand thing for a moment. Because that happens. And that, like we touched on that, but when you two together and made a choice to say, look, we love each other enough to be together, we love each other enough to say, hey, I'm pregnant, and we say we're gonna have a baby, figure it out. Try to, because rough times are always gonna be there. That's part of life. That's part of growth. Don't use anger and don't use finance as a means to cut and run, fellas, especially us, because we're the ones that society has made it where women don't need us. They use welfare, they use Section 8, they use so many different government programs to say you don't need a man. And they've been doing this throughout our history as Black people in America. They have been doing this to us. So we as men gotta say, you know what, I ain't getting ready to let y'all take my baby from me. Baby, we gonna fight through this storm. We gonna figure it out, talk to each other. If y'all love each other enough to say, I love you enough to say, you know what, we're gonna have this baby together. Be loved enough to say we're gonna figure out the rough patch. Okay? Give yourselves a chance to be good parents. You know, there's no blueprint. There's no blueprint, but there's bits and pieces of wisdom and knowledge that you can gather along the way. Because like I said, you got a village around you. You got family members, you got friends, you know, who are around you on a regular basis. Your circle knows you better than you know yourself. So reach out to them sometimes. Don't just complain about him or her. Reach out and say, you know what? We had a bad moment right now. And we talking about splitting up. Well, I'm feeling like I want to just get out. Say something to them to encourage them to stay. Because we got to learn how to stay to raise our children. Stop letting them be single-parently raised. And we got to be absentee parents. And that goes on both sides of that fence. Not just women and men. Because there's some women who say, I don't want to be a mama. Okay? But when y'all make that choice to say we're going to have a child, and I don't care what age group you are, it ain't just for young folks, it's for all of us out here who have children who are still young, and we need to learn how to communicate to raise them, to stay together as a family, because there's too many reasons to walk away. That's the easy way out. That's the easy way out. So we got to start thinking to ourselves, how we going to fight to stay together? We was together enough when we was under them sheets. So let's be together enough to say we're going to raise our baby together and put away our differences. And that don't mean you got to stay with each other and be angry. That means y'all got to find that love again. Put it back. Go to God first, because God going to give you the platform to get there. Am I making sense, y'all? I hope so.
Dad,
So, I mean, I want to share with y'all, because we're all talking, we're all talking. Each one teach one. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to learn and grow from y'all too now. Don't think I'm not learning something, because it gave me opportunity with my daughter saying, come, let's talk. And let's pull that rug off and let's let the skeletons out. It gave me opportunity to really, really think and reflect on me and what I have done and what I want to say and speak to all of us as people, not just Black people too, but as people, as men and women who we need to stick together when we're raising our children, because our children are the ones who suffer. When we separate, our children suffer.
Yeah.
They suffer greatly. The damage is done, and we can reverse it before it becomes irreversible. So let's think about that, y'all. And I hope I'm helping, because y'all helping me.
I think you helped. You got a lot of comments. You got a lot of questions. And I know it helped me. I know that we're in a much, much, much better place. And I know Adonis helped with that a lot. But I feel like now, like, to hear you yelling at graduation at the top of your lungs, I'm like, that is nobody but my dad up there. Like, I felt amazing. Like, and it's just to show, like, God can really heal what you allow him to heal. You have to be open to healing, and you have to be open to forgiveness, and you have to be open to realizing your own role and flaws. So as a child, of course, you're never really to blame for what your parents do, but you are responsible for the healing process if you want it to happen. Like right now, I could be 30 and me and my dad still not have a relationship because I'm still holding on to the past. Like, okay, yes, it happened, it hurt, but that's why I felt like I wanted to talk to him in front of you all, because this is a part of my flourishing process about how I am as a woman. Like, I can't be a woman of God and claim to be a woman of God and not have forgiveness in my heart for someone. That's contradictory. So to you, Dad, I forgive you, and I thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And I thank you for sharing, because he does not do Facebook Live, with all of my Flourish With Me Friday viewers and all of our Black Chic Beauty viewers. I thank you guys for tuning in. It means so, so much to me. And we're gonna try to mix it up and do more sessions like this to talk about healing and talk about certain topics, because I'm raising a son, and I'm so glad that my dad is in his life. I'm so glad he has a role model like, my dad. He's such a great guy. And I'm glad that I know him that he is now after his journey. Like I said, like he said, he had a journey to go through. I had a journey to go through. And though I wish he was there, it happened. It is what it is. But it doesn't have to determine who you are in the end. It doesn't have to be something that you go to your grave with hurt. Like, you can, if you still have a chance to mend the relationship, if you still have an opportunity, a lot of people don't even approach it because they're still holding on to the anger. Like, just give it a shot, just give it a chance. So like I said, like, I encourage you all, I hope you are blessed by this. If you have someone that you are angry with, even if they wronged you to the core, reach out and just see if it can be fixed. Just see if it's enough rope where you guys can come together and heal. So like I said, God is very, very intentional, because this all sparked from a poem that was from my broken place, and it ended up, manifesting
Flourish.
Something great.
Right. It
Come on,
flourished.
Dad, flourishing.
It flourished.
Yes, it flourished. So my dad is coming back in 2 weeks. He's gonna have I'm gonna be here with him because he doesn't know how to work Facebook.
Exactly.
But he has a message that God laid something on his heart, so it will be. We'll let you talk.
Well,
about it.
yeah. I'm what I want to do is like kind of talk to the men, because we got a lot to really do.
You are welcome.
And I just want to share some things. A guy's been talking to me, and like, my journey has been a journey that I've had a lot of people that have touched me, and I wanted to share some of that to try to help some young men out here, or men who still think that their street life is this route to go, and that we have other choices. So I just want to talk more about, on a one-on-one basis, as far as us being men and trying to be better men going to 2019, you know, and what we need to be doing as men for ourselves, together as men, you know, to help each other, lift each other up. You know, when we see each other out here and we give each other love, mean it. You know, mean it, so because somebody might be going through something that day, and just you seeing them and giving them that love as a man to another man, knowing what he go through day to day, knowing what we face when we walk out that door every day with so many obstacles against us. I just want to share some of that, you know, and I'm gonna bring it to y'all in 2 weeks, because I'm still listening to God put it to me the way that He want me to give it to y'all. So I hope y'all tune in. I've enjoyed myself tremendously. This is new to me, and I'm trying to get more literate and more technical in 2019. So thank you for allowing me to do that. I love
The
you.
next one. So Auntie Trina said you should start a blog. So gotta pray on that, huh?
I'm not the pro now. I don't know about a blog. Maybe with y'all encouragement, I might come on here and there. But I'm still learning and growing. Well, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all love. I really do. You know, this helped me a lot tremendously, really, from my heart. I thank all of y'all, and I give y'all my love back. So hopefully in 2 weeks, we all come together again.
Yes, my Flourish with Me Friday family is dope. So like I said, we are excited that you guys tuned in. I thank you guys for look, come through, Dad. Look, you can comment. See, you ain't got your glasses on, but okay. But yes, people were very receptive. So I look, I don't take it for granted that you guys have tuned in with me and given us your time. You guys could be doing anything else, watching anything else, and I'm just starting out with Flourish with Me Friday. So I want you to see. A lot of times you see the success at the end of someone, but I want you guys to journey with me and encourage you all throughout the way, because I feel like we are such a generation that can make a big impact. So I just want to help inspire as much as I can and encourage you to do the same thing. And
BSB.
Yeah, you know,
BSB.
Follow my business page and our YouTube page. This video will be posted on there. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. 2 weeks from now, it will be my dad. He is going to be talking to the young men. Be there. So invite your
help me grow.
Yes, invite the men, your husbands, sons, whatever it is. It's going to be very, very encouraging.
Let's have a conversation about us as men.
Yes. Especially
us being black men. We raising kings, y'all.
Yeah.
We're raising kings.
And society wants us to think otherwise, and it's strategic, and they're trying.
It's not the truth.
Nope.
That's fake news.
Fake news.
That's fake news, y'all.
Yes.
So I hope to see you guys. Love y'all.
Appreciate you. Love you guys. See y'all later.
Thank you for having me.